Good morning, YouTube. It's Trader Rob. Today is Tuesday, April 14th. Hope everyone's having a fantastic start to the morning. Let's have a day here today, Tuesday. We had some high impact news here this morning. We had CPI number come out at 7:30 this morning. Came in a little bit lower than expected. We had IMF World Economic Outlook. That was at 8 a.m. Only thing left on the table is 9:15 IMF Financial Stability Report. We got some Fed speakers throughout the morning, I should say, and the afternoon. And then Trump's got a pre-taped interview coming out at 3 o'clock. So that's what we've got. Let's see here. Some things to look out for here this morning. We've got a key level here at the 25,583. We've got a buyer unbalanced volume area sitting right here. Decent amount of volume sitting there as well. And then below us, we've got a setup here at the 25,420, targeting the 4429 and the 437. Another key level kind of sitting in no man's world over here at the 25,326. And then another setup down here, and a few more key levels down below, but market's going to have to travel pretty damn far. As far as the ES is concerned, we've got two levels here, two key levels at the 69.28 and the 69.24. A lot of volume stacked right here. As you can see, point of control sitting right here at the 69.24. And below us, we've got a buyer unbalanced volume area sitting right here at the 68.85 to the 68.68. So that's the ES and the NQ. Looks like we're making some moves here. We had a setup here early this morning. This started off at 3 o'clock in the morning. I jumped onto the charts at about 5:45 this morning, and this had already passed my entry on this one right here. So on this particular AVT strategy, you would have been looking for a long right here at the volume area low. Stop at the 606, and your take profits would have been right here. And that would have worked out nicely. But again, that was entry happened right after entry here, or right after the right after I jumped on the charts. Looks like right at the open, I don't think I would have been trading this little madness. Nothing here. All our levels, all of our entry levels and TPs and stop loss and TPs, all were underneath the open of this candle here, so nothing here for us to take. So we'll just keep monitoring this leg here and see what happens here with price action. Just a program note, no live stream tomorrow, Thursday or Friday. I am traveling to DC. I'll be chaperoning my daughter's Washington, DC trip for 8th grade. Finished off the stream yesterday, plus 400. Took a nice little trade with my Signal members after the YouTube stream. and finished off the day plus 800-ish, 850, 840, something in that, probably in that ballpark. And you know what? I gotta get this guy kind of ready here. Let's put him. Okay, he's ready to go. All right, so what we're looking for in this AVT strategy is it's pretty simple. We're looking for an impulsive move that breaks some structure here, which we are getting right now. That's your impulsive move. Here's your break of structure. Now what we're waiting for is, what we'd like to see is 1 to a minimum of 3. And the sweet spot is up to 5 120 range candles up. So each one of these boxes is a 30-point move on the NQ, 120 ticks. So we'd like to see 3 to 5 of these up candles, minimum of 3. You'd like to stay around 5. The more you go from there, the bigger the trade's going to be, the wider the risk to reward. And on these big opening moves, you know, typically the setup goes down to probably about a B to B plus setup. All right, so now all we got to do is we put our fixed volume profile tool here, and let's take see if we get an entry here. We do. All right, and then we've got unbalanced volume sitting right here. So what are we at? Risk to reward 33 points, 30 points. I'll be okay with that where it's at. See if we can catch this momentum continuing here to the upside. See if we can break some structure up here. See if we can take a nice first trade here of the morning. No possible second entry here. Point of control sitting up here, and value area high sitting up here as well. Slightly better than 1-to-1. 33 points, risking 30 here. And we got about 4 minutes for the 15-minute initial balance to be set here. Looks like we've been bouncing off that value area low a few times there. About 15 points in profit there. 21 points, 26, 27, 30. All right, nice target hit. Nice trade there to start the morning. I feel like everybody's so quiet this morning. Let's jump over to the 30. Still got 2 minutes here for 15-minute initial balance to be set. Did get a nice 30-point winner off of it yesterday. You got it, Keith. All right, about 40 seconds here for the 15-minute initial balance to be set. Again, pretty simple strategy. Super simple. We get a closed 30 range footprint chart that closes at or above the 15 minutes initial balance. We get a green candle where you take a long target of 30 points, stop of 8 points. So the stop, which is, we're on a 30 range here right now. So obviously the 30 range is equivalent to 7.5 points. So usually with about 8 to 9 points, a stop is more than you need. And then on your first up candle that you get after your entry, you move your stop almost to break even. So very little risk on these trades. Now we didn't really build a lot of liquidity up here, so today might be more of a lower probability play. So I believe the range was really set right here. So, all right, so if this closes as a green candle, which it did not. All right, we're in this trade here. Again, 8 points to stop. Looking for that first green candle so I can move my stop. And we'll be risking probably about 4 or 5 points if this can close green, which I'm hoping it will. Again, not okay. So 4.5 points of risk here. Try to target 30 points. Let's see if we can get a nice little pop. Almost a stop right there. Came right back and tested the initial balance. We might get tagged out here, but we'll see. Again, 3.5 points of risk. All right, so lost that one there. No big deal. 3.5 points. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's a really nice risk to reward. 3.5 points to try to make 30, like we did yesterday. I'll take that, no problem. And again, very simple strategy. So we're just looking for that first 30 range footprint to close above the 15-minute initial balance. Your entry obviously goes at the top of this candle. My order entry software from Affordable Indicators has this feature where I can enter in on a close of an up or green candle. So once that's activated, I'm just waiting here for it to close out, which it did. Got me a really nice entry, probably a little bit under this one. So that was a perfect entry for me. Stop is set at 8 points. And then on your first up bar right here, we then automatically go, we take our stop loss, and we are in a pretty low cost trade there. And again, why I find this strategy to be superior than just using the candlesticks like how it's normally taught. On these candles here, let's see if we were to set the initial range, which would have been right here. You know, what we've been taught is to wait for, you can either go on the breakout. So if you take the breakout here, your risk would be at the bottom of your entry candle, which in this case would have been about 15 to 17 points. So double the risk there. You would have lost that trade. Second one, another one is a wait for a close outside of the 15-minute range. Again, you'd be sitting on at least a minimum of 20, sometimes 30, 40 points of stop on that particular trade. Another way it's taught is to wait for the retest and then go. Same thing though. If you wait for the retest here, your risk is going to be pretty damn high. And what I have found is if you're wrong, you might as well be wrong really quickly, and for much less capital than having that drawdown, which is really not prop friendly, in my opinion. And this is just a pure mathematics game. You know, I mean, you're going to take your 3 losses per week. And if each one of your losses averages about to 8 points, that's 24 points of loss. If you have 2 wins per week, that's 60 points. So, you know, the math will work out in the long run. So this is just kind of like a daily trade that I take. Now, obviously, if I'm in a setup here that's calling for a short and I'm in a short, I'm obviously not going to be taking the 15-minute range. If I'm out of a trade like yesterday, we missed that long. Actually, we missed a bunch of setups yesterday by about a point and a half. The market was kind of cruel to me yesterday, all to see them go to TPs. But we had a particular one that happened around the 840 mark, which would have called for a long, and my TP would have been pretty much resting right where the initial balance was at. So in that situation, I wouldn't be taking the initial balance and my AVT strategy trade at the same time. I'd let one of them play out. So in the end, I still was able to get my 30 points yesterday off of that same trade that we just took here. But today, we took a 3.5 point loss. And I call it pretty much break even, guys. I know that, I mean, it's a 3 points for me. On my typical trade is 15 to 40 points on the NQ. 3 points for me is practically a break even. But in my spreadsheet that I am keeping on this strategy, of all the trades that we've taken so far live, I put the exact profit and loss. How many points lost, how many points won. And currently, since we started the strategy, we are still green, but just very slightly. But then you'll have, you know, 2 or 3 days of winners in a row. You're up 90 points. That's already giving you like a 2 to 2.5 week cushion on that trade. So it's a good one. Well, Tiger, I guess it becomes a point of eventually, you know, where do you stop at? You know, you've got the 5, the 15, the 30, the hour, and I guess you could take them all. I mean, this is you know, we could even look at that. We could look at taking in every single one of them and, you know, keeping that super tight stop. But the hour, I will say this very clearly. The first hour initial balance is by far the best trade. It's the easiest trade to learn. It's probably been the most profitable trade. It's definitely a good one. And if you just add the simple features of the footprint chart, the footprint candle, how we trade, based with our flips, it is a dynamite strategy. And to be honest with you, Tiger, I haven't back tested the 5-minute, so I don't really have much data on it. I have seen some videos on people who have back tested it that say that the 5-minute is very strong. But again, I don't take other people's videos or word for certainty ever. Hey, as a trading community, if you guys get some stats, look at the stats. Something that we can all use to make some money. Why not? All right, so today's the 14th. That was another long today, and that was minus 3.5, I believe it was total. Minus 3.5. So we started on the 8th. The 8th we had a short, we lost 3.5 points. The 9th we had a short, we lost 8 3/4 points. The 4th was a short, got in a little late on that one, minus 10 points. Yesterday, the 13th, we had a long, 30 points. Today, long, minus 3.5 points. We're still green for the strategy with 4 losing days and only 1 winning day. All right, so let's take a look at Bookmap. Let's see what's kind of brewing here. So we've got some orders sitting at the 69.70, not a ton. Similar volume at the 69.65, and then below us the 69.40 is. These are the 3 kind of levels right now on the ES. And if we take a look at the NQ, what do we got here on the NQ? I gotta figure out a hotkey for this. You know what? I could probably use my Stream Deck. I'll work on that. All right, so we've got a nice area here at the 25,742 with close to 200 contracts sitting right here. But as you can see, these orders here have been are being constantly pulled. So this one's been pulled as well. Been seeing a lot of this lately in the markets. The only one here currently is the 25,770. I was going to say the 705, but as I say it, they have also pulled that order. So in total, the book right now is actually pretty damn thin on the NQ and the ES, to be honest with you. Both of them are pretty thin. Morning, Nate. So, Tiger, on the 1 hour trade, and I have that one in the volume masterclass, which I know I think you've already gone through, but that one is I do it 2 ways. Let's see if I have an example of it here. All right, so this is an example. I don't know what this line is here. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Sorry. Okay, so what I do is I've got 2 charts open. I've got my 60 range chart down here, and I've got my 30 range chart on my main screen. Okay, that's my main trading screen right here. What I like to do is I like to wait for the candlestick to close again through the initial balance, or at least tap into it like this did right here. And all I'm doing is I'm waiting for this flip where I get green positive delta with a red footprint candle. That's my entry confirmation to go short. And from there, I am taking the short. My stop loss is going at the top of the at the top of the box, or a minimum of 15 points on the initial balance. 15 points is a good stop loss to have. And my target is 15 to 20 points. It used to be 15, now it's getting much closer to 20 on almost every single IB trade. There's a good amount of room there. So now sometimes you won't see a flip on the 30, right? So we'll get price action and we don't see any flips on the 30. What I then do is then I will switch over to the 60, which is now incorporating more volume. And it's a little bit higher range time frame. So I've got the 30, the 60, and the 120 that I use for all of my trading. And I'll wait for the 60 to show me a footprint. Now the 60 is also 15 points. So if this was to give me a flip, meaning this was red and I get a green positive delta, so this is not a good example of one here. Let's see if I get right here. So this would be my example of a flip. On the 60 range, you get your down footprint candle and you get positive delta, which is all it's telling you is that even though the buyers were attempting to get this price to go higher, we still were able to close lower. So the buyers, even though they were exerting a lot of force, they definitely did not get rewarded for it, and all of their effort really went for nothing. In a situation like this is if this is your IB line right here, my entry is right here, my stop loss is right here, which is going to be around, again, 15 points. And I am targeting for that 20 point winner down here. Really good strategy. It's very easy to learn, and you guys will find that it'll be very profitable for you. All right, so now this guy, let's nope, that's not what I want to do. All right, we'll just continue to watch price action. Again, what I'm looking for is the next big move. Okay, so this will keep us out of chop because, again, we've got that 3 to 5 candlestick pattern that we are looking for. Not pattern, I'm sorry. Price action that we're looking for. Remember, 3 up candles is going to be in that range of 70 to 90 points of a move. So we need to see at least that to start looking for a trade, and it'll also keep you out of some chop. Not all chop. I mean, there's you can still have a big range and still be in a chop. Like anything, strategy is not perfect. Even though we've been on a really nice win streak here. But, where this strategy kind of gets hurt, and I've demonstrated this a few times, is going to be your scenarios like this, okay, which the market does like to do, because, again, we'd be looking for a long at the value area low, or maybe the point of control. Our stop is at the bottom of the break of structure. So in that scenario, once it breaks structure, trade was wrong. The only thing that we see is it comes right back to where our target was sitting at. We then might be looking at the value area high, or again, the point of control. We might get stopped out here just to see the move go right back in our direction, break structure here. Again, if you see this once or twice already in the day, I wouldn't say once, but if you see this already twice in the day, then you know that the environment for today's trading might not be very suitable for this very well-off strategy. And the reason why I like it so much is that it really does incorporate all of the best trading principles that are out there. You know, we've always been taught to know that the market typically moves like this. It's very rare that the market moves in one straight shot. Money market makers do not like this strategy, this movement at all. They like to see this, and even better for them is this. If they see this all day, they are extremely happy. Extremely happy. If they see this, they hate this because this is a very inefficient market. Okay. It's very hard to make this efficient model for market makers to make money on. Okay. They need to see retracements. They need to see ranges. They need to see this chop, whatever you want to call it. That is, that's their, so this strategy, which I have labeled AVT, which is auction volume trend, is very simple. So we are just trying to capitalize on the move. So we've always been taught, you know, wait for retracement. You've been taught fib levels, wait for 50% retracement, wait for, you know, the golden line, whatever you want to call it. You've been told, you know, buy at the best price, buy at fair value low, fair value high, depending on which way you're going. Target point of control. Point of control is where the, you know, where you had the most buyers and sellers at the same exact time in the market conducting business. So we've been taught all of those things. This strategy really combines all of those strategies that we've been taught into one, what I consider to be pretty easy one to follow and pretty easy one to implement. Good to see you, J-Loves. Tiger, so my 15-minute initial balance is a continuation play. My hour initial balance is 100%. It could be a reversal play or it could be a continuation play. But for the continuation play, which I would say is a little bit more rare, if this was our initial balance sitting right here, what I'm looking for is, you know, this is my bias 100% of the time, okay? But if we rip through, what I like to do is I like to wait for it to come retest the IB, and then I'll be looking to jump in on the retest up here with the exact same criteria. The only difference is I would need to see a green footprint candle with negative delta. So green footprint and negative delta is my continuation trade to the upside or the downside. Well, to the upside. Continuation to the downside would be red footprint, positive delta. Okay. And it should make sense because if delta is increasing and it's negative, okay, and we're still closing up as a green bar, that's obviously giving you a sign that as much as the sellers were trying to push this market down, they still were not able to win that battle. And the buyers were still able to overcome all of that downwards pressure to continue the move up. Generally, you know, when you don't see it like this is consolidation here. So this is a little bit tough. But when you see a move like this, which is an impulsive move, and then you start to see delta, positive delta increasing, and then positive delta starting to falter, and then you get a red footprint candle with positive delta. This is 8 out of 10 times is going to be the absolute top of this move, and you will see a nice little melt to the downside. The higher the time frame you go, the higher the range that you go, the much more confidence you can have in the trade. So again, if I see a flip on the 120 range, which is equivalent to 30 points, that's going to mean a lot more to me than if I see a flip on the 60 or the 30. because they're lower. Now, when you get to super high volume areas, like the initial balance at that hour mark, the 30 and 60 will catch those really nicely. And then if you get in on a 30 and you're in the trade and you see the 60 flip, man, you can be targeting 50 points, 45 points with ease. You might have already been out of the trade because, you know, especially if you're only trying to target 20 points, but very friendly for prop firms. And it's a definitely a nice winning strategy there. And speaking of that initial balance, we got 22 minutes currently for initial balance to be set. Hey Mo, so if you go to the portal, the signal portals, the homepage, just go to the channel that says resources or tools. And in that tools, you'll see that there is that order entry tool that you're looking for. I believe that's what you're asking me for. If you're talking to me about what I'm using to get me into my trades, like you see this preview of my ATM, and that gets me into these trades, that's completely different. That's with affordable. Have a look. Thank you. Yeah. So they're both in here. So if you're looking for this order entry, which is through affordable indicators, that link is in the resources channel or the tools channel. Or if you're looking for that signal entry that one of our members developed, that's also in there. So the links for both of them are in there. Right, give me 1 second, guys. I want to show you guys something here in gold coming up. So gold has got a really big piece of unbalanced volume sitting at the 48.72 to the 48.40. So kind of a big range, but this is a much bigger time frame play. You're going to see how difficult gold, unless we get a headline news or something impactful comes out. But if we see normal price action tap into here, we should see a pretty good reversal. And this is a great place, again, to use your footprint for some reversals here. You could be on the 12 footprint, the 30, in gold. Even the 60 works out really well. And then below us, we've got another level sitting at the 47.63 to the 47.45. Again, for both of these, the market's going to have a very hard time to get through. A lot of volume sitting right there. And the same with this guy down here. And then, sorry, let me delete this. And then just to explain this trade here once again. So this AVT, which is my auction volume trend strategy, it's pretty simple. So again, what we're looking for is we're looking for a minimum of 3 up or down 120 range candles. Okay, so the market needs to travel, let's just say 70 to 90 points in one direction or the other. Okay, so and typically that's going to be enough to get some break of structure, which we did right here, which is all what I'm looking for. This is what I teach in my volume masterclass, is this break of structure. Find your unbalanced volume. Unbalanced volume is sitting right here. You will find your key level right here as well. And what we're doing is, once you get 3 to 5 up 120 range candles or down, what you're looking for is you're looking for your first small retracement down, okay? Which is what we got right here. We got 1, 2, 3 footprints up. Market continued to try to go up a little bit higher. And then we finally got a small retracement. So in that scenario, you get your fixed volume profile tool. Every platform has one. TradingView, NinjaTrader, TradeStation, Trade of 8, whatever you're using, it's got it. You start in the middle of your first candle, and you take it to your first down candle. So that's your first retracement. And the beauty of the strategy is that all of your entry levels, everything that you need for this trade, is already built in on the trade. So what I'm looking for is, I would be looking for a retracement into value area low. Okay, so value area low is sitting at the 25,709, and that's my entry. Now, if this was the point of control, so the point of control sitting up here, but if the point of control was actually sitting right over here, and you had value area low down here, well, guess what? Now you've got 2 possible entries. You could take an entry at the point of control, or you could take the entry at the value area low, get a much better price on the trade. You could take 2 positions if you want. Take 2 positions right here. You've got a built-in stop loss at 25 at your break of structure. So if we break through here, trade's invalid. Trades, we were wrong. We were wrong on it. Market wants to go in a different direction. No problem. At that point, now we're looking for the next leg to the downside, see how we can trap the market into giving us another trade. And what you'll see is that your risk to reward on a typical setup is going to be always typically better than 1-to-1. But if it's not, which in this scenario it was not, because from here to here was much more than here to here. Not by a lot, I say much more, but I'm exaggerating. But definitely not 1-to-1. So what I do is, I already know that my unbalanced volume is sitting right here, okay? And I just take half of that. So I know I'm still getting some defense here from the impulsive move. And to be honest with you, if we dip down to here, more than likely we're going to be taking out our stop anyways. So in this scenario, I buttoned up my stop loss to the mid-range there. And now my risk to reward got better than 1-to-1. And all you're doing is, again, the fixed volume profile tool is giving you your TPs. It's giving you point of control sitting right here. This is where the most amount of business was conducted. Okay. If you're in 2 positions, let's say you had another entry, your best TP is going to be your break of structure. Or take them both out at the point of control, whatever you want to do. And what we're always waiting for is, we're waiting for this impulsive move. So it's going to get you, it's going to eliminate you from the majority of the chop. And you just kind of wait. It's a nice mechanical based strategy. And again, it incorporates what I consider to be a lot of the best principles in market theory that's out there. So the label on the price scale, that only gives me a label over here, Tiger. And I tried that, but it's really not. It's these numbers down here are so small. You know, for some that are watching on like a monitor or a TV, it works out well. But if you're on mobile, or you know, if the resolution's not great, these labels are very, very difficult to see. I find that this just becomes much more easier for everyone to really see with the actual number. Personally, I would love to avoid this because to me, I think it clutters the chart a little bit. But now that we're speaking of that, I can vent about a few things. You know, NinjaTrader and Trade of Eights, which are one is together. You know, again, they should have the ability on their horizontal lines or vertical lines for me to be able to not only give me what number this is at into text form, not just a price label. Not only should they be able to do that, but if I want to say that this is a point of control, I should be able to type in that this is a point of control and that should show up. I mean, it's an absolutely fucking basic requirement of a trading platform. And for them to have been pushing this stuff out for over a decade and not have that capability, to me, is absolutely mind-boggling. Same with rectangle tool. I'm sorry, this is my y-axis highlighter. Love this tool. My favorite tool in the entire tool suite of things that they have. And I say I love it because this is how I chart on all my external charts, and you just see it right here on my main screen. But if this is a unbalanced seller volume area, okay, like how I draw out in purple or in the yellow, okay, why can't there be text that stays in the center of the box no matter where you scale to? No matter how you scale, it stays in the middle. TradingView has it. Every other platform's got it. Give me the numbers of where that y-axis is at. Give me the numbers here. So I have to go in, and I got to go in and put these lines in there. You might not think it's not that big of a deal, but it really is, because the more lines you put on your chart, the worse your scaling starts to become. That's why sometimes you see me, I love to use this auto tool that auto focuses in on the chart. But if you've got a shit ton of things going on in your chart, you'll notice that your chart gets all out of whack. And shouldn't be that way, because we don't need all these extra lines and text, manual text things to be put in. Do we have a signal coming up here? 802 maybe? Give me 1 sec. No, that is not a signal here. Where's that coming from? Where is that originating from? Or this might have been this is a setup from a long time ago. Alright, I don't think we have to do anything there. That's going way back from like March. Yeah, that's way late, so I can delete that. I probably should have just left to see if we still would have worked out there, but that was an old level. So yeah, just getting back to the NinjaTrader rant. And it's not like we're asking for nothing crazy. It should be very, very simple. And yes, I know there's indicators that do it, but the problem I'll tell you right now what the problem is with the indicators. I have an indicator that will plot a y-axis highlighter. So it gives me that band that you see, which is what I use every day. And I could put text in it, no problem. But it is only, when you have it as an indicator, it is only stays on the chart that you're currently marking out. So if you probably don't notice this, but you know, if I'm over here on the NQ, on my other chart, which I've got a 120 range footprint chart sitting right up here. If I put a highlighter tool over here, I didn't do it on this monitor, I did it over here, but it's global. And it goes on every single NQ chart I have. The indicators can't do that. None of the indicators can do the global. They could do a basic shape, but not with text and not with all of the other stuff that what we're actually looking for. Yeah, I can make them bigger, but this, what you're looking at here for my labels, this is a third-party indicator. This is a horizontal line. What's the fuck's it called? Let's see what this is called. Labeled horizontal lines. So I have to install that indicator on every chart for me to just pop in a line. So I got a hotkey as a line, and it'll automatically put me this this number. And on that indicator, I could go in and I could change the font. Yeah, for sure. I can make it bigger, smaller. I can do whatever I want to it. But it's not global, because if I'm over here and I put my line in, it gives me this over here because the indicator is over here. But it doesn't give me the number on the chart that I originated from, because I don't have that that indicator on that particular chart. So it's and then you can't. Again, I'm sorry for the rant, but I mean, don't even get me started on the rectangle tool. Tell me that this is not useless. Yeah, it gives me a rectangle. But how about a rectangle tool that extends all the way to the right? Can't do it on the NinjaTrader rectangle. You can buy a third-party indicator that'll do it for you, but you can't do it from the... Now, let's just say I was to put text in here, like how I would want. Let's just say that I wanted to tell you guys, hey, there's 245 contracts sitting here. Okay, well, guess what? Now, if price action continues to go, and let's just say that this was all the way out here, this is like extended out. Of course, stop. Okay, if this was extended out, that text is gone. In 20 minutes, that text you can't even read anymore. It's not going to say auto-centered to wherever you have it on. And yes, you could say, Rob, why don't you go in and lock it? Okay, lock it. What does that do? That does nothing. It just keeps it right there. It just prevents me from moving it. But that's useless. Why can't the rectangle tool have an extend to the right, extend to the left? They have it in Tradeovate, but they don't have it in NinjaTrader. Put some text in there that will automatically just auto-center or auto-justify to the right, to the center, or to the left. But stay on the freaking chart, which is where we need it. Try to make your text size bigger on the chart. So are you saying on these lines you want this to be bigger, the 25,741? Or are you talking about the scale, my margin, my right margin, this 25,740 over here? because you also got to remember, I can't go too big on these numbers, because when you go too big on these numbers, and I've got a scenario sitting like this, and I've got another level right here, you make this any bigger, and everything just gets bunched into one. So I know viewing wise, it might be better for this to be bigger, but it's also got to make sense on the chart so that, you know, when you've got levels that are close to each other, that you can actually read the text. So properties, and then my font. So this, if I change this font here, it's just going to change. Let's see if I go to 16. It just makes these numbers bigger. But now my entire, so is that what you're saying you want bigger? Is just these numbers? Now I lost my formatting on my recordings software, but we could stay there. It's not terrible. Yes, now you can use the standard horizontal. Oh, okay, but then what about this? So what about when you put a line in between the 750 and the 760? Everybody's going to be asking me, where's that line going to be sitting at? You know, without this number here. I don't know. It's a tricky. Trust me, I've spent 5-6 months trying to figure the best solution out that makes the stream easier to see. And they are scaled out a little bit more because we are on the 120 footprint. Oh, we got a minute here for initial balance. Let's take a look here. So again, we're getting a similar, kind of similar situation here. Where the high is being put in. Ooh. I don't know, I kind of like that there. Let's see. That was a flip there. I don't know if it was... Let's see if they respect that. I don't really like the fact that we create the high right at the initial balance. To me, it's not the best setup. So I think I'm going to skip this initial balance trade here today, even though this might work out. But so you guys notice that we had the initial balance created right on this, right at your 930 candle, okay? So what we're banking on with the initial balance strategy is for a pivot to have been established already. So let's just say that this was my initial balance right here. Typically what we want to see is we want to see price action make these pivots. So what we have liquidity sitting here, so that we have liquidity sitting here. And when you get a scenario like what just happened here today, where the actual initial balance was created by that particular candle, it doesn't, in my, might work out, but it doesn't have the same effect. Now the initial balance low will have a nice pivot there. So wherever this low is sitting at, which is at the 25,655, this will have a pivot. This will have liquidity sitting at it right here. 830 is right here. So right from your 830 move, which is right here, okay, you've got a pretty strong movement to the upside, right? So again, people are going to be betting on the longs here, and this is a very natural place for stops, sitting right here. Okay, and that's why you've got always built-in liquidity sitting at your initial balances. Yeah, this is just kind of chopping up here, so... Yeah, kind of feel like maybe we we were able to capture there at least a nice trade here already this morning. So I'm kind of, I'm very thankful for that. All right, interesting. Gold just tapped into that area that I was talking to you guys about. Just tapped in. Let's see here. Let's change this guy up a little bit. This should be really right here. This is not right. It's not an 8 range right now. This is I'm on a 60 range right here, just because of how big the time frame is. But again, this would be a great area to find yourself a flip, which is not going to occur on this one because we already have a lot of negative delta. This is actually showing sign of strength right now. But if we can get price action to come up here and give us what we're looking for, which would be a red footprint with positive delta, that would be a beautiful trade. Now, unfortunately, I can't take this trade with you guys right now. I could take it on my Top Sub X account, which we might just end up doing. Because I've got Apex attached to here, which you can't trade with gold right now. I could trade only on my cash accounts, but I have those already grouped up together. And to do that might just fuck everything else up. Man, gold is, I mean, NQ is just absolutely just on a pure uptrend here today. I don't really have any key levels. I got really nothing marked up on the top. I mean, you got to go off to the left almost 2.5 months to see some price action. All right, so it looks like we did get the flip on gold, which I didn't think would... All right, so there is your flip. I would have liked to see this gotten into this band just a little bit more, but there is your flip right there. So this is where I would take a short, stop sitting somewhere right up here. And probably target here 1 to 2 for sure in gold. It's pretty simple. And I did get into this trade on my TopStepX account, so that was my entry right off of that 60 footprint that you see right there. So we'll keep this one going here. Sorry, I might open it up a little bit more. So we'll see what kind of drop we get here. But I also got to take a look really quickly at, sorry, I'll bring this back up. I got to take a look at the NQ here, because the NQ's got a, we might have a setup here. Let's see if we close here or not. Huge move to the downside there in gold. Almost came to my take profit. All right, so we've got a setup here. Let's target back to the point of control. There. Stop sits right here. And now we just wait. So real close here of taking profit. That was a big dump. Big dump. That should have been, oh, we are in an unbalanced volume area right there. Nice little push here. Let's go. Take it. Nice. TP hit. That was, I think, 120 ticks of a move. Very easy to spot on gold. So again, right off of that large weekly band, which will probably come back and retest. But that one's easy. Now let's take a look at our NQ trade here. Nordic said, have you tried using hotkeys to your drawing elements that you use the most? Absolutely. So on my keyboard, so I've got a Stream Deck that I've got some hotkeys in. My Stream Deck is mainly for my signal service and for the recording software that I use to live stream. So that's the bulk of it. But on my keyboard, I created hotkeys and I've got them labeled on my keyboard. So I've got like my line tool, which I use all the time. I've got a text tool, which I use all the time, and my my y-axis, which again I use all the time. A few more that I want to add is I'm going to probably add the fixed volume profile because I use it a lot. But even though I've got it right here, so I kind of cheat with this one here because I use it on the 120. So I use this little drawing tool that they have built in with NinjaTrader. And again, guys, on the footprint, this is exactly the setup that I was saying. I didn't think that we would get a flip here because we had so much positive delta, but it's a great example of catching, you get your impulsive move up. You then get a lot of positive delta. That's 158 positive delta, but we still closed as a red candle, right? As a red footprint. That is my order confirmation. This is what I teach in my Volume Masterclass course. This is how we trade every day. This is how I take my initial balance trades. And you got yourself a really nice move to the downside. And again, to invalidate this trade, we'd have to see a closure, footprint closure above my TP here, break a structure. And in that case, I'll exit out of this limit order, and then we'll just keep waiting for the next leg to see what comes from it. Hey Rob, what platform are you using for volume charts? So what you're seeing right now is NinjaTrader. So I use NinjaTrader for all of my charting. In the morning, when I give you guys, like every morning in Discord, I don't think I have streaming. I don't have streaming mode on. So sorry if you'll see some names in here, but I don't think it's a big deal. So for this, which I provide every single morning, these are all of my scalping bands and my key levels for the NQ and the ES. I use TradingView for this because it's just, it's easier. It's, again, for all of the reasons that I was just ranting about on NinjaTrader. So I use TradingView just for my, kind of like my illustrations on Discord. But what I chart with here, with this fixed volume profile tool, this is all NinjaTrader right here. My footprint charts, everything you're seeing here, this is all Ninja. And then obviously I've got, oh, yeah, that's what I want to do. I've got my book map that I use for level 2 for the ES and the NQ. And that trade right there that I just took in gold, which is fucking dropping like it's dropping like it's hot now. This trade I took here in gold, this is on my 3 funded accounts with Top Steps. My risk was less than half of what my take profit was there. That's the nice thing about the footprint candles, is that if you're using them as an entry confirmation, which is what I do, pop this guy back in here, move him one over. Okay. So again, if I show you guys the footprint here, and please forget this watermark here. This is not an 8 range. This is a 60 range right now that I'm on in gold. I do know that the new NinjaTrader update will now put these watermarks in here for me for, don't say for free, but you know what I'm saying. The nice thing is that, you know, if your stop is right here, for me, the stop's right here. I already know I've got unbalanced volume sitting right here. This is a great place to take TP. This is already a 2-to-1. And it's going to give you more than that. You could just tell by this is your risk. And then you just take that down. That's 1. That's 2. You're pretty much almost at 3. 1 to 3 here. But again, this was a very big, this is a huge area that I told you guys would be very, very difficult for gold to get through. We'll see if the market wants to come back down here and possibly give us here an entry. How many minutes delay? I think the YouTube stream should be less than 5-second delay from everything we've on my signal service, my live trading room and my signal service. We average about 1 second to 2 seconds. I mean, before I could finish my sentence, sometimes they're answering a question already. You're welcome, bud. Yeah, every day. I mean, I've been posting them for the last 2.5 years every single day. I get in front of the charts at 5:30, 5:45, almost 3 hours before the market even opens. And I already have my entire morning plotted out. It's not key. And I could start adding it. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot of different things that that I've got on my plate. So the Sunday videos take some good amount of my time, good amount of my Sunday time. It takes about 2 hours for me to get everything up and done with the charts and the recording for that. That's why I really enjoy the live streams, because the live streams, there's no editing. It's just what you see is what you get, and most people will say the live stream's the hard part. I'm having an absolute blast with it. It's there's great people on here. I got no idiots on here, which is I know been a blessing so far. But yeah, I could add them. My signal group, they get levels every single morning, so they get levels on the ES, the NQ, and gold. And they get the charts as well with the with my bands and everything like that. No. Yeah, no, I've yeah, I could add the bands. Might have to get in the charts at 4:30 in the morning. And once again, no live stream tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. I am chaperoning my 8th grade, my daughter's 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip. So we leave today. And get back Friday. Nordic, I didn't got the TP on gold. What's your target, man? What are you targeting? This is a great spot right here to target. Now, you know what? I'll give you a target if you're still in that trade. I'm gonna take this off here, here. Oh man, you really went into a nice. That was a nice TP area where we just melted to. All right, so big target. If you want to get absolutely crazy, is right here. And your next target would be right here. So 48.10 is aggressive, 47.96 is super aggressive. But again, your easiest target was right here. And why is that? I mean, it's all the same principle that we teach in the Volume Masterclass course. This is where your unbalanced volume is currently sitting at, right here. impulsive move. So these targets, you know, these are aggressive, man. They're super aggressive. I would have taken TP already, and well, I already did. But this is a very big volume cluster. But the one thing that you also got to be cautious on is, since this is such a large one, you know, that's why I like to hit very realistic, my first realistic unbalanced target, because we could come right back in and test more volume sitting up here and take another dip. Like, this could pay you multiple times here. I'll take a screenshot of these so you have it on your, I'll put it into the chat. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, okay, sorry. I'll put it in there anyways. All right, so I can get rid of these guys. All right, so it looks like we're breaking structure already up here. So at this point, we'll look for the next leg here to the upside or to the downside. All right, Tiger says, yeah, yes, Key, you are correct on that. Tiger, I am confused now a bit. I have deep charts open. Ooh, deep charts. I wish we can, I want to get you on the stream, man. We can, you can give me a live demonstration of it. D charts open, and all indicators tell me that the last uptrend on gold on the 60 range chart had negative delta already. So let's just look at it together. See what you're. So I'm gonna say you're talking about this leg right here. This leg. Well, yours showed that they had positive. No, these are all negative. These are all negative delta right here. So this is negative delta, negative delta, negative delta. This is a show of strength right here. I mean, I would long right here into, if I was going to front run something, I would definitely, that would be my trade right here going into this, but I would never be taking a long up here. I would take a long if we get over here. If we come and do this, and I get a footprint here that's green with negative delta, then shit, yeah, I'm gonna be long all day there. But this here, this leg up, this is all a sign of strength. These are all negative deltas, 1, 2, and 3. It's not till here that you get your first red footprint with positive delta. That's the biggest change right there. I was on the NQ that had, oh, okay, NQ. Let's go to the NQ. You said the 60 range or the 120? Oh, I'm confused now. 60 range. All right, let's go 60 range. Which leg are we talking about here? This was a pretty big leg. Right here. This was another leg right here. I don't know which leg you're talking about, but this is positive, 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 positive. This is negative, negative delta, but we had negative footprint, so this means nothing to me. Then what do we get? We get negative delta, green footprint. That's your continuation model for the long. And that worked out very nice. That's about 45-point ripper. Not about 30-point ripper. All is good. Was an error on my. Okay. Nope. No issues. That's what we're here for, man. All right, let's get back to the 120. Let's get rid of this guy here. Let's wait for their next setup here. Guys, if you haven't, click like on the stream. I super appreciate it. Thanks, bud. So Mo commented, I would love to know your morning routine to get ready for the markets. You are certainly dedicated. I love your work ethic, bro. Thank you, Mo. Yeah, so I mean, I don't need to make a video on it. I see that that's a popular thing from creators, but it's honestly pretty simple. So I never get up with an alarm. So, you know, one, I don't have maybe the best sleeping. Like, I go to bed at a reasonable time. I say reasonable, but maybe it's not reasonable to some people. But I'm usually in bed by like 11 to 11:30 at night. And I'm up without an alarm. I don't even have an alarm set. I'm up at about 5 o'clock in the morning. And then from there, it's very simple. The first thing that I do is I walk over to my coffee maker. I get the coffee ready. And I will sit down for about 5 minutes to take the first few sips of my coffee, doing absolutely nothing. And then typically use the washroom at that point and come down. Before I take a shower, I come down, I get everything up and running here in the studio downstairs. And I will then start to map out all of my unbalanced volume areas on the NQ, the ES, and in gold. And after I map out the key areas of unbalanced volume, I will then look for, you know, any sniper entries that I can find in the NQ or in ES. I will review the price action from the last time I was on the charts, which might have been the night before or the end of session or whenever it was the last time I was looking at charts. I will go in and pretty much just recreate this on all of the legs just to kind of see how everything was being respected. And from that point, I then map out my key levels. So I'll take a look at, you know, prior day close, prior day high, the open. I'll map out some key levels on the 4 and 1 hour, and I map those out. I then go in and review my economic calendar. So I'll open up Financial Juice and look at, you know, what might be affecting the markets and, you know, today. I then go into Discord and give Discord my welcome message that I've been doing for the last 4 years every day. Pretty much just telling them what's on the economic calendar, what some of my insights, and then typically I'll end off with a little motivational slogan or whatever. And then from there, I will get the stream ready, get everything up and running for my stream, and then I start posting on Discord my bands and my levels. I then go into the signal service. I give the signal members a opening message with a quote. So I give a motivational quote every single day to the signal service members, and I do a GIF, like a motivational GIF. So it's the exact same routine every single day. I don't deviate from my routine at all. The second that I finish with the signal members, as far as if there's any new signals or if there is, updated my bands, I then open up my journal. So my journal always sits right next to me. And this is just my paper journal. This has nothing to do with trades. I don't put any results of trades in here. I don't put my P&L in here. None of that. None of that is in here. So, for instance, I've just picked out a random day. This is March 24th, 2026. First thing I have in my journal is concentrate on the little things. And then I'll highlight it in yellow or red, or yellow or pink. Pink means that I didn't do a good job of it. Yellow means that I did do, which that day I did. I said to press on the perfect setups. So that was a day that I felt that the market conditions were somewhat favorable for me to get a little bit more aggressive. Hit a golf ball on every loss, which is something that I've implemented now for like the last month and a half. So if I take a loss, usually I'll take a pause on the stream, and I'll go into, I've got a golf simulator here in my basement, and I'll just hit one golf ball, and that will take my mind, doesn't take my mind off the chart or the trade. I can't bullshit you about that. I think about it all the time, but it avoids the impulsive decision of maybe getting right back into that trade without actually thinking about it for 1 second. So I hit a golf ball, what I was taught. I forgot what podcast I was listening to. It was some type of ancient Chinese technique that they used. Drink a sip of water, stand up. I mean, something to physically have something physical that you need to do that isn't in front of the chart. And then for my results for the day, I hit it hard. So I said press on the perfect setups, and I did. I don't know what my P&L was on the 24th. If I go back into my live stream, I go into my results to see what the results were, which again, I don't normally see a lot of YouTubers doing this, but like every day I post exactly what you see on your screen for my session P&L. Every day I've got the day tracker, so you know where I'm at for the month, what I'm in the specific trade, and what I'm in for the session. So it kind of really is an open book. But if I go in here and I look at the 24th, let's see if it was good or not. Live. And we'll go to March 24th, plus $2,700. So right here, take a look. These are my videos on every day live. I put what was up or down. March 24th, which was just a random page that I took out. I didn't even know what the hell I was looking at here. Plus $2,700 on that day. So I in highlighter, I marked it off as yellow. I hit that goal. And I also, one other thing that I put in there was I did kill some bad setups, meaning that I did not take some setups that did not work out. So my invalidation process was good on that day as well, which I find more gratifying to me than my actual wins. And then off to the left, I have a few things. Like if I see anything that's different in the market, for instance, that day, there was, I don't know how to explain it. I drew it. So like for me to explain it, it was on the 120 range chart where I was seeing that there was about 5,000 contracts that were sitting on Bookmap. And what the market was constantly doing is it was going in, tapping in that liquidity. It was removing 300-400 contracts, coming down, and then giving me a 120 flip right back into that liquidity. Happened 3 times, and I was able to capitalize on the last one. So I just marked that down as to, hey, take a look at that if that particular setup presents itself again that day. I had a PC error the night before that. I took a loss in my cash accounts on that one. It was the day that, I don't know, something happened where I lost my machine ID on NinjaTrader. When I logged into Windows didn't recognize my PIN, and I already knew right off the bat what had happened. But the machine ID I got issued a new machine ID because it thought that it was a new computer. And when it did that, my Replicanto, which is what I use for my trade copier, was deactivated. So all of those trades that I was in were completely naked. So I said that day, any overnight trades that I leave on have to be in Trade-of-8, not NinjaTrader. Because in Trade-of-8, I'm not using in a local trade copier, and Trade-of-8 I would be using their trade copier. So I have that in that same day. So that's all my notes for the 24th. And then from there, I track my individual trades with TradeZilla. So that will import it at the end of the session. And, you know, I'll go in and adjust my playbooks in there to, you know, if it was a unbalanced volume area, if it was my initial balance trade, what the result was, and screenshots. So that's pretty much kind of like my routine that I have every single day. So guys, on this setup here, this is more likely like a kind of like a B to like a C plus type of setup here, because if you think about it, our theory here was we come back to value area low, which is sitting right here. Okay, my unbalanced volume sitting right here. The theory here would be is to take a long here, and we can target the point of control sitting right here. Okay, bigger target would be the value area high, which I really kind of like here. But if you notice, we got our first down candle right here, which is what prompted me for the fixed volume profile to give me my levels. But we did break structure up here. Okay, so this we did break our TP area. So this to me already lessens this setup here now to like a B to a C plus. What I like to see is, you know, I'm okay with retracements, you know, but something, you know, in the lines of like this or like this. But there's still a good chance that this trade still ends up working. I mean, we are in a trending day to the upside. This is staying with the momentum. You're buying in at the best possible price down here. Good risk to reward. You know, here to here is a 1-to-1. Here to here is closer to 1 to 1.5. So, Tiger, on the, you know, one thing you definitely want to avoid is oh, right here. Oh, that's a nice one. So this met a lot of my criteria. Now, granted, I haven't done any analysis on what is here. Okay, I would want to have some confluence on what's here. What I would like to be targeting is unbalanced volume, and you might have been. I'd have to take a look at the higher time frame. But this does meet a lot of the things that I'm looking for here. Is impulsive move. I don't want to see this and then come down. This I'm not a big fan of. It's this that I really like to see. And you had increasing delta on the positive side, and then it started to wane off right here, and then it started to wane off right here, and we still closed green. So this much, and we could possibly trap all of these sellers right here. All these sellers could be trapped. But the footprints will catch the reversals. That's why I use them as my order entry confirmations. They will catch these reversals really well, or continuations. So like if this right here was a red footprint with green positive delta, that gives me a lot more conviction. If my thought process was that we were going to go short, gives me good conviction to stay in that trade a little bit longer. Yeah, so I mean, on this particular one, I would have had my stop here, which is 15 points. You were probably in about 7 or 8 points of drawdown there, if you got in right at the confirmation candle. And then TP, you know, 1-to-1 would be, I would assume, somewhere right around there. Oh no, that already is 1-to-1. So you would have already gotten your out. You would have been out right there for 15 points. But again, they could actually trap a lot more of these sellers here. But I don't know. I haven't really looked at the context of it. Oh, the 120 gave you a flip too, so that's even more confirmation there. So the 120 gave us a decent flip there. So that would be a good sign. That would give me a little bit more strength. Now the buyers have been in control pretty much this whole morning. So this is the first down leg that we've seen. So we'll see if that wants to continue or not. Yeah, and the nice thing about it, Tiger, is that this will give you a great stop loss, because again, if this stop gets hit, there's only, and I hate to say it, there's only one of two things that's going to happen. It's going to just rip to the downside, or it could possibly sweep you and then continue to go. But the likelihood is that it's going to be a continuation to the downside if this low gets broken. Because again, this is where the fight happened, and if they overtake, their buddies come back in and start beating up on you, they might lose that. They're going to lose that battle there. At least the way I look at it. And the higher the time frame you go, or the higher the range that you go, the more confirmation you should actually get. Yeah, I got the 40. I got the 40 as well on one of my left charts as well. If I'm looking for scalps, 40 footprints pretty good as well. Because it's kind of a nice little balance. But like on 10-point scalps, the 30 is going to be your golden ticket. 15 range. I mean, I'm sorry, 15 to 20 points. You want to be between that 30 and 60. So maybe the 40 for you would be great. Problem is, you have too many of them, then that'll also screw you up. I only have 3, and I stay with 3. 30, 60, 120. Because then you start getting different confirmations on different ranges, and that might drive you nuts. I like the balance of the doubling up of every range there. Yeah, that's the hardest part, Tiger, right there, is getting that balance. And again, if you want to mechanicalize it, if that's a word, I don't know. ATR could be your friend there. For me, on the 60 range, your unbalanced volume sitting right here, so this is your best target, in my opinion. This is unbalanced right here, so that would be my target right there. 25 805s. That's just the way I see the market. All right, everyone. I think I'm going to call it a day here. Pretty happy with the trade that I took already here this morning. Had one winner there for 33 points. Had a loser there for 30. I'm sorry, had a loser for 3 points. So I'm happy with my 30 points that I made here this morning. I think I capitalized pretty well on that nice move. Took a nice trade in gold there on my TopSupX funded account. So pretty happy with the morning. The next time you guys will see me live on YouTube will be next Monday, so don't miss me too much. But all my bands, my levels will be updated every single day on Discord, so if you want to check that out, they will be there on in the morning time. So with that, stay patient and have a great day trading. I'll see you guys here early next week.